to Hitaayu 2020. International webinar organized jointly by the Department of PG Studies in Swastharutta and Panchakarma, JSS Ayurveda Medical College, Mysuru. Knowledge is the understanding of the topic. Skill is applying that knowledge in practical situation, and the bridge between knowledge and skill is experiences. For today's session, we have two resources person very well known for their knowledge, skill, experience, and clinical approach. It's my honor and privilege to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Deepa Bhatt, who is a passionate teacher as well as a practitioner. Ma'am obtained a BMS degree from JSS Ayurveda Medical College, Mysuru. Subsequently, ma'am specialized in Panchakarma, MD, from SDM College of Ayurveda, Hassan. Ma'am has done her teaching training in yoga at USA. Ma'am has been actively teaching yoga and Ayurveda to US community. Ma'am has conducted short-term courses in Ayurveda, diet and nutrition, lifestyle management, and many awareness programs. Ma'am has special interest in possible beneficial effects of music therapy in treatment. Ma'am has been teaching Carnatic music for past 11 years and owns a successful business event management. Today, ma'am is going to deliver a guest speech on Rutu Shodhana, Need for the Era. On behalf of JSS Ayurveda Medical College, I welcome you, ma'am, to Hitaayu 2020. Now, may I request you, ma'am, to take over the session.
Is the screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect.
I can keep it to presentation mode, ma'am.
Yes, yes, please. Om Shri Dhanvantare Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My humble pranams to Jagat Guru Shri Shri Shivaratri Mahaswamiji. Thank you so much, Dr. Komala. I'm so humbled by the good words. Respected faculty members, dignitaries, and all attendees. First of all, I would like to thank our principal of JSS AMC, Dr. Sarveshwar Kasar, and Hitaayu organizers, Dr. Sudhakar Reddy, and also Veena ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity and platform to share my thoughts and experience that may be useful for all the listeners listening from all over the world. This is a very auspicious and special day for me, as it is 105th Jayanti of Swamiji. And I'm so proud to say that I am the first batch alumni of JSS institution. So the feeling is more like connecting with back home today. I'm grateful for all the beloved teachers. They are the reason for what I am today. In today's presentation, considering that most of the webinar attendees are either final year BMS students or PG scholars, PhD scholars, teachers and practitioners, since you already know what is in the Shastras, I'm not focusing much on the details mentioned in the Shastras, but definitely considering the principles from the Samhitas in line with the knowledge of the contemporary science. I would like to give my views and experience on how to apply the standard guidelines given in our classics, how to differentiate the factors when you're practicing, especially outside India. I have also used some of the study materials and research articles from renowned online platform to support the same. So the topic that's given to me is much relevant for today's scenario. Ritu Shodhana, the need of the era. Ayurveda is an age-old science of life. It has always emphasized on swasthasya swasthya rakshanam, which means to maintain the health of the healthy, and aturasya kar prashamanam. Primary goal is to promote the health of an individual and prevent the diseases rather than curing the diseases. A healthy body is needed for the progress of human life, without which it is hard to achieve dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. For this purpose, the means are dinacharya, ritucharya, sadvritas, and periodic shodhana procedures that helps to timely cleanse the body of um, the accumulated doshas and avoid the forthcoming seasonal infections. Let's see what are the seasons. As you all know, the whole year is divided into Adana Kala and Visarga Kala. And the 6 Ritus mentioned are Hemanta, Shishira, Vasanta, Grishma, and Varsha and Sharad. Depending upon the geographical region where you live in, most of the countries of the world has only 4 seasons. And depending upon where you live, the season might vary from 5, 4, 3. In fact, if you're closer to the equator, it's just 2 seasons also. Why this knowledge is important? Because nowadays, Ayurveda is becoming more and more global. We have so many people approaching us all over the world seeking for the help. And it's very important to understand from what geographical region, what part of the climatic conditions the person is approaching you from. You cannot definitely determine the seasons just by the dates on the calendar. You have to observe and see what's happening in the nature. I want to give you a few examples. For example, in India, spring season has 2 months, right? So now within India, the southern part of the India will have its a spring season starting a little bit early compared to northern part of the India. But when you go to the global perspective, in the northern hemisphere, especially in countries like UK and USA, spring starts in March, but it is a 3-month period of the season. Similarly, if you move on to the southern part of the hemisphere, countries like Australia, New Zealand, spring starts there in September month. So if you don't have a sound knowledge of what season or the geographical region the person is approaching you from, then maybe even though if you're prescribing a disease-specific medicine, it may not be effective. And in fact, we had a couple of experiences where a person had ended up with a few complications like skin rashes and etc. And also, sometimes, especially in northern hemisphere, winter season is quite longer, and prolonged effect of vata and kapha is seen here. And summer is very short and intense. Severe pitta effects will be there. So it's my sincere request, since I'm pretty sure many of the practitioners are already seeing Westerners as patients. Please consider the aspect of season and geographical region from where the person is contacting you from. And we get a wide range of references from Charaka and Sushruta. Charaka in Vimanasthana in Janapadodvamsa chapter, excuse me, he speaks about the medical geography in Vimanasthana, which is gaining significance in contemporary science nowadays. Why these kind of informations are very important? Why do we consider all these things when we have to do Rituchodhana? I'll be discussing it pretty soon. Sushruta says that if the disease is originated in Anupadesha, and if the person moves to the Jangala Desha, the intensity or severity of the disease reduces by itself. And it can happen vice versa, with everything becoming globalizing and with the opportunities that are available for everyone. From India only, a lot of people are moving to different parts of the country. Maybe when they are in the native place, they might be doing good with Satmya and also Pravarabala. But when they move on to the different countries, that is when they start observing. In fact, they don't observe. That is when the doshas start accumulating. And maybe if we are not sensitive enough to recognize all these changes, we will definitely end up in suffering diseases. So that is the kind of introduction I want to give you before we move further. Now, Why seasons are important? With the change in season, the change is very evident in the environment we live in. As a part of the ecosystem, we see various changes in the body to the influence of external environment. If we don't adopt ourselves for all these stresses, then it may lead to dosha vaishamya, which in turn may render to the body to many more disorders. And in modern science also, seasonal epidemic infections are explained similarly. Pathological organisms survive in the host body. Whenever there is favorable conditions like temperature, humidity, sunlight, they infect either the host body, or sometimes they will not infect the host body, but definitely infect the other individuals. That is what is happening in the present era with the COVID situation. Especially if the immunity of the host is suppressed, then the incidences are high. So Ritu acts as a Venjaka and Nimitta Karana for both aggravation and manifestation of the disease. This is why I wanted to stress upon this is I recently had a patient who did had a good experience with the online consultation they had with one of the physician in India. And as I said earlier, now it is peak summer here. There is pitta, it's in its peak. And definitely the medicines that are given aggravated the dosha condition and patient is undergoing vyapat. So please keep this in mind whenever you are planning for the treatment protocols. Next, we will see what are the relations of the illness with the season. Relationship between the human health and the climate is not at all a new concept, nor it is a new subject. It is important to understand that seasonal illnesses are a year-round health concern, and these seasonal illnesses can lead to lower productivity, uncomfortable symptoms, and even significant healthcare risk. I have listed out common illnesses which are increasingly seen in each of these seasons, but I don't want to go in detail with all of them for now. But I would like to highlight few research papers which has enlightened the connection between the season and the humans. One of the research on the genetic testing showed clear signs of the seasonal variation in a quarter of the 22,000 genes they scrutinized. Study says that increase in the inflammation could now be a risk factor for the disease of the modern life. Immunity and inflammation was linked to the rainy season when diseases are more prone to. And we also see a lot of pitta and raktadi dhatus vitiated during the rainy season, which is associated with immunity and inflammation. In winter, lack of light generates more imbalances. In many cases, the change in season affects with increase in the anxiety, migraines, rheumatic problems, etc., etc. And we have seen it's quite evident that most of the dosha symptoms mentioned according to the seasons match the climatic rising infections and diseases of the modern area. The truth is that every season has its own meteoropathy, and we need to take utmost care to maintain our health. So what's the strength of an individual in all these ritus? In the beginning of the Visarga Kala and ending of the Adana Kala, that is in Varsha and Grishma Ritu, the Bala is Avara. And in Vasanta and Sharad Ritu, there will be a moderate grade of the Bala. In the end of Visarga Kala and beginning of the Adana Kala, the Bala will be high. And some of the research studies again on the genes suggest that during the cold and the winter months, especially during December to February, for people who are living in north of the equator, these genes were more active. So it goes in line with what Ayurveda principle is saying with the Bala aspect. Now, I'll skip that slide. We will move on to Ritushodhana. Ritushodhana is an individualized approach of the Ayurveda where specific Shodhana procedure is carried out in a specific season to balance the doshas. It mainly concerns the maintenance of the health, preventing of the disease, and also, uh, promoting the preventive aspects of it. So Panchakarma here can be understood in the Swastha perspective, Roganusara perspective, and also to avail the benefits of the Rasayanadi Kramas. So in the classics, it is said that the accumulation of the doshas arising from the cold season should be expelled out during Vasanta. That arising from the Grishma should be expelled in rainy season, and that from the rainy season should be expelled in autumn. By this, people will not become victims of the disease, and pressure of the doshas or the Kriyakala will be put a stop. What is the need of Rutshodhana? We can't, can we balance the doshas with just following Langana and Pachana process? Should we really need the Rutushodhana? Is a question of the era. Our body has innate ability and intelligence to process and remove accumulated ama and align all three doshas if we strictly follow the regimens and the food prescribed for each rutus. Unfortunately, our regular repeated violations on our bodies with irregular eating habits, eating on the run, everyday stress, lack of exercise or over-exercise, staying up in the night, all these are depleting body's natural intelligence, thus aggravating the diseases. Therefore, Ritushodhana becomes mandatory now more than ever before and plays an important role among the regimens mentioned in Ritucharya. So it is clearly said that doshaha kadachit kupyanti jita langana pachanaihi yetu samshodhanaihi shuddhaha na tesham punarudbhavaha. The doshas which are mitigated by langana and pachana can become aggravated again, but those which are cleared by the samshodhana therapies will not get aggravated again as they are removed from the root. And this is considered as apunarbhava chikitsa. So this seasonal bio-cleansing is just like our regular car maintenance. We have to do the proper servicing to keep it running more efficiently. Similarly, we have to be proactive with the Yathakala Rutu Shodhana to help and maintain the harmony of our system. What are the indicated Ritu Shodhanas? According to seasons, specific karmas are done to nullify unwanted changes. So Vamana is indicated in Vasanta, Virechana is indicated in Sharat, Basti in Varsha, Nasya in all seasons, and Raktamokshana in Sharat. As you can see, I have included, I wanted to include the Grishma also in Virechana, because countries like this where only 4 seasons are allowed, at the end of Grishma, we perform the Virechana. And also in the Basti, though Varsha is the suggested season, definitely in Hemanta and Shishira Ritu, if everything is conducive for the treatment, we can do the Bastis. Nasya can be done in all seasons, as it is mentioned clearly in the textbooks. Now, the question, the most disturbing thing for me when I came to US was Shodhana is propagated everywhere as detoxifying therapy. Do you really think Shodhana is a detoxifying therapy? In India, definitely periodic seasonal purification is not prevalent yet. But in West, people are very much fond of undergoing many detox therapies. Popular ones are usually including this simple fruit and veggie detox, juice cleanse, water flush, fasting, maybe consuming high fiber or probiotic. And other than this, colon cleansing and cleansing with coffee decoction, chelation therapy to remove the heavy metals from the body, etc., etc., etc. These are just to mention few. And unfortunately, the Vaidyas propagate Panchakarma also as detoxification therapy. I'm not commenting on anybody's views, but it is just my personal view. I feel strongly that Panchakarma is a very profound, medically significant procedure. The goal of the Panchakarma is balance the doshas and also re-establish the homeodynamics of the body. Removal of the waste and detoxification are just one of the benefits, but definitely not the primary goal of the Panchakarma. So when kapha is stabilized, the impact is on the immune system. When pitta is stabilized, we see its effect on the endocrine and digestive system. And when vata is stabilized, definitely there is a stabilization of the autonomous nervous system and enteric nervous system. This is just to give a few examples for you, but this way entire tridosha system is stabilizing. It's not just by detoxifying procedure. So we always need to understand the effect of the Panchakarma is multidimensional. The next question that's there in front of us is, has the procedure changed over the period of time? Procedure doesn't change according to Ayurvedic principle, but according to the patient, according to the season, climatic conditions, and the region, the dose, the form, and the time of the administration can be changed or, I would say, modified. Just like all the time we do before administering Shodhana, it is essential to examine the status of dosha, prakriti, desha, kala, vaya, koshta. With global warming and variation in the arrival and uncertainty of the seasons, it's always better to analyze the desha and kala based on the tridosha and panchabhauti point of view to decide the shodhana. These principles surely demand a closer observation for clarity. I definitely encourage you all to go back to Charaka Samhita. One thing I'm always amazed and impressed by our Samhitakaras, all Acharyas are. There is nothing as of now I have seen out of the Samhitas. All the standard guidelines are given in the Samhitas. And also there are mentioning about few things. For example, for Manda Buddhis, you have to limit your knowledge to whatever the list of the drugs that's been given in the Samhitas. But depending upon the yukti of the physician, depending upon the experience of the physician, you can definitely go out of the box, making sure you're not compromising with the principle. So I strongly believe in this, and definitely there is a high scope for exploration, more exploration in this area. So what happens if we try to do Panchakarma outside of the season, especially in Swastha? It is also said in the classics that body will be certainly damaged, just like how you extract the juice out of the raw fruit. I want to give the example of my own state. Texas is the second largest city in US. Thunderstorms are very common here. The state experiences most tornadoes, an average of 139 generally, that's occurring in April, May, and June. Some of the most destructive hurricanes have impacted Texas. Whenever the tropical cyclone comes, there will be a flooding in the early spring and early months of the autumn. And during summer, it is exactly the extreme temperature. So how do you practice Ritu Shodhana here? Sometimes we just, we ourselves get confused because in a day we can see or witness all the 4 seasons characteristics. So if you don't consider all these aspects, even if it is Ritu Shodhana, you might end up with complications. It's very interesting to see how principles and practicability is going in hand. Chakrapani says that many native plants will be very potent compared to the ones that are got from far places. For Vamana itself, getting Madanaphala is not an easy. We have certain limitations to practice some procedures. We do have some limitations with the availability of the drug. So this is where I would like to pick this concept because as Chakrapani said, the locally available indigenous medicine plants, if they are potent enough, we can definitely make utilization of these kind of herbs in our treatment principle. And research also proved ashwagandha is one of the common herb most of us use. And if you really see where exactly ashwagandha comes from, most of it comes from some of the regions in Kashmir and some comes from Nagaur. And research studies prove that there is definitely difference in their genotypes. So deciding the dose of the drug depends upon what kind of medicine you are using. If it is a high potent drug, you go for Avaramatra. If it is a very low potent drug, definitely we cannot expect the Pravarashuddhi of the Shodhana, then we have to go with the higher dose. So we discussed time, we discussed medicinal herbs, we discussed the dose. Now coming to the form of administration of the procedures. We have mixed Vaidyas who are dedicated. One set is always dedicated to principle. They don't want to give up the principles no matter where they go. The other set of Vaidyas, again, this is just my view. It is more of a marketing purpose, and how Ayurveda is portrayed is different. Sadhyu Shodhana, I would like to definitely discuss few points on Sadhyu Shodhana. Sadhyu Vamana still is okay when seasonal episodic conditions are there. But Sadhyu Virechana is a concept a lot of people practice. In my personal view, Sadhyu Virechana, definitely it's not mentioned anywhere in the classics. And I want to just consider that as one of the Vatanulomana procedure or Koshtashodhana procedure. It cannot be compared with the classical benefits of what Virechana is going to give you if you follow proper Purva Karma, Pradhana Karma, and Paschat Karma. But what else we can do? If Sadhyu Shodhana is not an option, what else we can do? Because countries like this will have problems like convenience of the time and affordability and all those things. Treatments are not that easy to afford. It's quite expensive here. So keeping this both convenience and affordability into consideration, we can definitely modify the procedures. Vamana can be performed in 3 days and Virechana can be planned for 5 days. I will give some more details when I discuss the proper particular Shodhanas. So when to go for Ritu Shodhana? Sadharana Kala is the best time, but Chakrapani also says that springtime is another time where it is very much favorable condition to go for all the other types of Shodhanas. Because the nature itself is going through process of rejuvenation and rebirth there. And age, we all had 40 plus eyeball before. That concept is gone long time before. A study conducted in All India Institute of Medical Science shows that incidence of hypertension, obesity, heart disease are becoming more common, and surprisingly, they are also affecting younger urban population. Hence, the population at risk shifts from 40 plus to maybe 30 plus or even younger. And the reason is sedentary lifestyle and the consumption of fatty food, alcohol, all these things. So I have mentioned here when to go for Ritu Shodhana. If it is possible, earlier is well and good, but definitely it is recommended if you can from age 30 onwards better to undergo Rutushodhana regularly if you are focused on promoting good health and have a qualitative life. How frequent Panchakarma should be done, or Rutushodhana should be done? A 5 days purification cycle of Shodhana in every Ritu, so I meant to say 3 to 4 times a year, definitely is advisable. But again, affordability in India also, why it is not prevalent? Because people are careless. People say that, hey, I am doing good now. Why I should be spending money on going there, admitting for so and so days and get the Panchakarma done. So that kind of an awareness should still improve there. And if not 3 to 4 times a year, definitely in Vasanta Kala, we can go for Shodhanas other than Vamana also based on the need. Okay. I have enlisted a couple of Ritu specific Upakramas or the Shodhanas. And during Hemanta Ritu, because of the Ritu, there is no Chaya and Prakopa of the doshas. So no specific Shodhana treatments are prescribed. Only Upakramas are mentioned, which are mainly Vatahara, and Shirobasti is also mentioned. But in practice, we see that both Nasya and Basti is highly practiced and highly beneficial in many conditions. When you're practicing Shirodhara kind of procedures, Shirobasti, personally, I haven't done here, but Shirodharas, yes. You have to take utmost precaution to educate the patient regarding the post effect of the Shirodhara as well. Because usually after Shirodhara, we wipe the oil, we apply the Rasna Chuna, and we will send the patient home. But in extreme weather conditions, like in Northern Hemisphere, especially, when there is extreme cold is there, immediately after the procedure, if the patient exposes to the cold or exposes to Ati Ushna, definitely there will be, I don't say completely vyapats, but there are disturbances that we have noticed. Patient comes back complaining of heaviness in the head, shirashula, some disturbances and fogginess in the mind or irritability and so on. So be really careful while suggesting any of the procedures. Don't compromise with educating them with everything, every possible things like what happens if the proper precautions are not taken, and what are the paschat karmas especially. Everything needs to be educated and properly monitored. The next Rutu is Shishira Rutu. Here, almost a similar regimen like Hemanta Rutu, in an intensified manner we can follow. Panchakarma in winter season is mostly meant for rejuvenation purpose of the nervous system. Again, Basti and Nasya is what we have practiced. Vasanta Rutu, we know that Tikshna Vamana, Udvartana, and Dhumapana, Kavala, Anjana are prescribed in the classics. Sushruta has added Niruhavasti here. Dallana says that why Niruhavasti is indicated in Vasanta Rutu. It can be, it is indicated because one thing is it is Sarvadoshahara, and also if the person is not conducive for the Vamana in Vasanta, maybe it is because of the Balyavasta or Vriddhavasta or Avarabala, then definitely we can go for Basti. And in practice, Vamana definitely helps in allergic conditions. It reduces the serum histamine levels. There have been a lot of studies on this. Nasya also have helped many to reduce their steroid dependency during this season. Coming back to Vamana procedure as such, here in West, practice of classical Vamana karma is comparatively less, especially when we compare to the Vireshchana practice. We hardly practice Vamana. And there have been significant results in simplifying the Vamana Karma to 3 days. And many a time, because of the acceptance, Acha Snehapana cannot be done and Vicharana Snehapana is done. And it's just a mild to moderate cleanse is what we can expect with this kind of approach. If the dosha utklesha is there, then definitely we can do Sadhya Vamana. Simple Lavana Jala Sadhya Vamana is also helpful, but it is not a Rutushodhana. It is just a Avastika Chikitsa. But as a Rutushodhana, I have few friends who practice the Shodhana, I mean, Vamana Karma with sugarcane juice, with Pipali, Vacha, and Eshtimadu. Especially in Tamakashvasa, there is a significant reduction in the symptoms, and it has supported the respiratory system also. Coming to the Paschat Karma, many times, though we educate clients here, the trend is people rush for a full meal immediately. They are so desperate, even it is just a 5 days or 3 days procedure. They're so desperate and they go for the regular the diet. But no, one can get digestive power back only by following the Sansarjana Krama. So please don't compromise on the principles again, because with the research and studies, it is evident that we are resetting our own entire digestive system and re-establishing the microbiome when we follow properly the Samsarjana Kramas also. Nasya Karma, we can practice daily if it is Pratimarshanasya, otherwise Marshanasya. And in Vagbhata, we see a lot of references on, depending upon the seasons, what time we need to, administer Nasya. Grishma Ritu, again here because of the extreme heat, Kapha slowly decreases and Vata starts increasing. People often make a mistake by following the poor diet and also consuming very cold water. And another thing what I'm observing in these seasons is Madhya. Madhya is strictly avoided during this period. It is clearly mentioned in Ritucharya. But you cannot avoid. People are so much used to taking wine and other types of alcohol, and they end up with inflammatory conditions. The body becomes very fragile, weak, and there is increase in the burning sensation. In fact, one of the recent person whom I saw, he was almost getting into this delusion level. So please try to educate again with the, even in India, the trend is changing. Following regimen and the lifestyle is very, very important. We cannot neglect a single few percent of it. So I said before, Virechana is the line of treatment at the end of the Grishma in many countries of the Northern Hemisphere. Along with that, we have tried few Kshirabastis, and there are mentioning of the Mukhalepana Kalpanas, and I will not be touching any of those things today because Dr. Sajita Madam will be definitely covering those subjects in coming sessions. Varsha Ritu is next. In Varsha Ritu, Basti is advised, and many authors like Arunadatta, Chakradatta Dalana, everybody says that it is better to go for the Urdhva-desha Shodhana, in the sense Vamana or Virechana, depending upon the condition, and then follow the Niruha Basti. That's when we can get the maximum effect. Balaguduchadi Basti is indicated in Swastha. Over here, when I was mentioning many of the self-treat, self-panchkarma packages, one of the common procedure people do by themselves is Dashamula Basti. They take the Dashamula Basti for 5 days continuously. Again, it's in my point of view, I feel that this will be too much rukshana for a person if they are taking these kind of treatments by themselves, just with the intention of the periodic cleansing. So following the principle combination of Anuha and Niruha Basti is definitely is what I also believe is the right kind of approach. And Matra Basti, we do a lot of Matra Bastis in Sandigata Vata, Amavata, and we have done Eshtimadu Kshira Bastis as well. And many times we have seen patients saying that, hey, I skipped the course of Basti and my pain is relapsing or my acidity is relapsing. So this is clearly indicative that definitely people are getting benefited. It's just we are not letting our intelligence to listen to our body in terms of what's happening with the external environment. Panchaprasritika Basti is another Basti. I'm choosing that Basti because of the availability of the drugs here and what is easy and conducive. Based on that, that is another Basti. I think it's a very good for us to adopt it for the Ritushodhana purpose. In Sharad Ritu, Virechana is advised. And again, in Virechana, I want to give you all, because I don't want to just say what is in the Shastras. And in India, you all are exposed with so many patients and so many therapies you're seeing. What's happening in the outside world is what I want to educate you all with. That way, maybe it's a mutual exchange of the knowledge, and it will be definitely helpful for you in future. So here, Virechana, usually for Virechana, if it is Shodhana purpose, then definitely Achasneha is advised. But many places, because of the acceptance, we cannot give the Achasneha Pana. So we have to add the Sneha with the food, and as a Vicharana Sneha, we have to administer. And simplifying the procedures, giving Samamatra Sneha for maybe a couple of weeks, couple of days. We are going to advise the patients to take the Snehapana at their home, and they come to the center for Abhyanga and Sveda, and followed by the Virechana. And for Virechana, most probably we go with either castor oil or Triphala, very mild type. We don't use the Trivrit Leha or any other combinations on a regular basis. Sadhya Virechana, I already pointed out, definitely it is not a proper Shodhana procedure. We will move further and see what is the role of Ritu Shodhana in prevention of seasonal diseases. I have listed out many diseases that have been mentioned in classics. Disease onset in relation of the Ritus, and how Ritushodhana, if we do, how we can prevent all these diseases. You can definitely refer those in classical text. But one thing I want to tell you is, seasonal diseases is showing a variety in modern era. Like it may be coronavirus, which is robusting. It is distributing like anything. Variety of viruses will keep on evolving. But if we follow the Shodhana treatments mentioned in Ritucharya, definitely we can enhance the immunity of an individual and protect from all these kind of new diseases as well. Prevention of lifestyle diseases is another main goal of Ritushodhana. In this era of polluted and adulterated toxic food consumption, bioaccumulation of the pesticides, consumption of apatya aharas, ruksha aharas, shushka guna aharas, refrigerated items, increased consumption of the meat, and maybe alcoholic beverages or aerated beverages. All these things lead to unimaginable dosha sanchaya in the body and ama formation. These factors are the causes for lifestyle disorders such as obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and whatnot. In our country, situation is quite alarming now due to rapid changing of the disease profile. Already, we all know that diabetes is a capital of the, India is considered as a diabetes capital of the world. And I wouldn't say it will take much time going forward to gain another distinction of becoming lifestyle related disease capital as well. So key for the survival is adaptation, and adaptation according to the changes can only happen if we are strict follower of the Ritucharya and maybe following the Ritushodhana also. Periodic cleansing has its impact on the gut bacteria, and definitely it could prevent a lot of metabolic disease. Another area where Ritushodhana is highly beneficial is the Dushi Visha or chemical toxicity. There is so much burden to the body with long time consumption of the preservatives, coloring agents, flavoring agents, pesticides and other chemicals. Not only this, our skin is also day to day, it is exposed to many chemicals. Can be hair dye, makeup products, chemicals in lotions, and also alcohol, cigarette, drug load, etc. Some authenticated evidence is seen in some of the studies where it is proved that lipophil mediated detoxification procedures may be useful in reducing the body's burden of fat soluble toxicants, environmental and occupational toxicants as well. Study has demonstrated a significant reduction in the serum levels of the DDE, the insecticide, some of the man-made chemicals, chlorinated industrial chemicals, and also this one, what's that, beta HCH. So all these are considered as probable human carcinogens. And we know why it is evident nowadays that even the cancer is taking its toll in the health of individual. So next scope is prevention and delay of aging. I don't want to go in detail about it. We all know, we all have been witnessing, definitely most of our procedures are Vaisthapaka. It is Balya, Brahmana. Definitely it has its influence with the prevention of the prevention or delaying the age related disorders. Another area is what is the seasonal influence on the manas and its influence on preventing the manasika vikaras. Our emotions and thoughts gets influenced by external environment. Ahita artha refers to external and internal stresses. How we respond makes a major difference in our body and mind. There are so many seasonal mental diseases like anxiety affecting in summer, depression in winter. How Shodhana will be helpful? Shodhana causes Sharira Shuddha or Sharira Shuddhi, Koshta Shuddhi, Hridaya Shuddhi, Shira Shuddhi, ultimately causing the Manas Shuddhi. Ritushodhana is very effective in preventing the remissions of the schizophrenia, bipolar mood disorders, depression. Even apasmara is found to reduce the, found to be, the severity of the apasmara is also found that it has shown the reduction, and intensity of attack is also reduced by following Ritushodhana. So with this, what I would like to tell you, because we are running out of the time, I don't want to take much of time and I will conclude pretty soon. I definitely want to refer back to Charaka before concluding anything. The benefits of the Shodhana mentioned in Charaka, Evam Vishuddha Koshtasya Kayagni Rabivardate, each and every word, every benefit mentioned in the Shodhana there. It's evident that the shlokas or the every benefit that's discussed in the classics are discussed in detail, and also in recent era, all of them have been tested and proved scientifically. suggesting again that Rutushodhana is definitely beneficial in promoting the health. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation saying that Rutushodhana is an ancient set of principles which can still be applied to our present day situation. It is essential to have good knowledge about the doshas predominance in each Rutu, irrespective of the date on the calendar of the year, because season is so uncertain and it's not welcoming at all because of the high pollution that's happening. Following Dinacharya and Ritacharya through Shodhana, Hitahara Sevana, one can attain Swasthya Rakshana and also do the Vikara Prashamana. There is a huge need for educating community. As I said, how people are more conscious about the periodic cleansing here in West. In India, we don't see that. Fortunately, I'm so proud to know that my both mother institution, both the JSS Medical College and also my SDM College of Hassan, and many other institutions for that matter, they are encouraging their students to undergo Shodhana. They are encouraging more and more awareness programs, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Everybody should join their hand and definitely incorporate wellness programs, and there is a need for more research and documentation of the effective data with the health preventive point of view and also health curative point of view. I would like to conclude saying that future of Ayurveda definitely lies in Swasthavrita and Panchakarma. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you all the best. Hitaayu and Sukhayu. Sarve santu sukha, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya. Thank you.
We are concluding now.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experience, knowledge, skill, and clinical approach for the viewers. So, ma'am, we have few questions from the viewers. First question is, do you say all need to undergo Rutushodhana, or only those who are having dosha prakopaka, they should go for Rutushodhana?
Yes, because one of the criteria for Rutushodhana is Chaya Purvaka Prakopa. Okay, so if we see the Chaya Purvaka Prakopa, then only Rutushodhana is needed. Otherwise, if you are a strict follower of Dinacharya and the lifestyle, then you don't need regular Rutushodhana. But more or less what we see in practice is it is definitely hard with today's world to follow the strict diet and regimen. So I would definitely recommend at least once a year, we all should go for Rutushodhana.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question. Scope of Rutushodhana in US?
Very much is there. Definitely is there. As I said, in West, it is more prevalent versus in our country. But again, there are few disadvantages. As I said, there is limitation with the procedure or availability of the drugs. More and more awareness here and more research work would definitely back us all up with more practices of Rutushodhana.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question. Will repeated Rutushodhana will cause Vata Prakopaka?
If you are not following proper Purva Karma and Paschat Karma, definitely yes, it will cause Vata Vritti. But if you are following proper method of the classical method of Shodhana procedures, it should not create Vata Vritti. And again, when are we doing this? We are not doing it like any time in the year. It is just in the seasons where we observe the Chaya Purvaka Prakopa. That's when we do. And that time, it is definitely helpful.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question. Ma'am, which are the common drugs you use in US for Ritu Shodhana, ma'am?
As I said, for Virechana purpose, we use only castor oil or Triphala. We don't, I haven't used anything else other than these two. And for Basti, we make a combination. Matra Basti is mostly used procedure. So whatever the available snehas are there with that. And also Kshira Bastis we have used, definitely.
Next question, ma'am. Whether Shodhana is needed in a Swastha?
It really depends upon, are you really referring to Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadatu, Malakriyaha? Are you talking about that kind of swastha? Then no. Then no. If not, then definitely yes.
Okay. Ma'am, can you suggest like how to set up Ayurveda in US, those who are going for foreign countries?
This is a very challenging question. I myself took a very long time to get back to this profession. While introducing you, just said I'm a Carnatic classical teacher and also I run a business. So because that I was passionate to practice Ayurveda, even now I have a full-time 2 jobs. My heart was saying that after studying so much, you're not doing anything, you're not doing anything. What were the disadvantages? So you have to get the sponsors here. Okay, that's the first and foremost thing. If you don't get the sponsors, it's really hard. Second thing is the visa, with the licensing and also limitations with certain procedures and all. Definitely, if you come here with a good backup, then you can practice the Panchakarma. Otherwise, you have to work hard to explore your own way. You have to figure out.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question. At what age we can start Ritu Shodhana?
In my discussion, I definitely said that 30 plus years. Okay. Once you reach the age 30, before that, I mean, if it's needed, we can, but today's sedentary lifestyle is affecting younger urban population. Okay, we are seeing so many lifestyle diseases. Unfortunately, in my close friend circle only, we have lost the lives because of the, cancer and other metabolic diseases. So definitely it's a requirement. I feel like after 30, it's better to listen to your body, do proper workout, eat properly, sleep properly. And then if you feel like your body is going down, there is some kind of a shift is happening, then definitely go for Shodhana.
Thank you, ma'am. It was so informative.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mihir sir, namaste sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, shall we start the session, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Pranamas to His Holiness. Good morning, one and all. Myself, Dr. Komala Deepak, Assistant Professor, Department of PG Studies in Swasthavritta, welcomes you all for the second session, scientific session. It's my honor and privilege to welcome and introduce today's guest speech, Dr. Mihir Surendra Ajarnavis, Professor, Head, Department of the Swasthavritta and Yoga, Tilak Ayurveda Medical College, Mahavidyalaya, Pune. Sir has completed MD in Kaya Chikitsa, University of Pune in 1995, MD in Swasthavritta in Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, Nasik 2010, with first rank holder in Kaya Chikitsa in third year BMS in the college and first rank in the MD exam at University of Pune during 1995. Sir also has MA in Sanskrit from Tilak Mahavidya Peeta. Sir is having 24 years of experience in Swasthavritta. Sir has participated as an invited faculty for Ayurveda course conducted in Tel Aviv, Israel, in collaboration with International Academy of Ayurveda in India. He worked as a coordinator and faculty for the seminar on Ayurveda nutritional therapy, seminar on advanced Ayurveda therapeutic diet. He was invited as resource person in various colleges. His involvement in curriculum development is appreciable. Sir has administrative experience as vice principal of Tilak Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya Pune since 2012. Sir has participated in many seminars, workshops, training programs, as well as health programs in various places. Sir worked as a member of Board of Studies, PG Paraclinical Ayur Subjects, Maharashtra University of Health Sciences during 2012 and 17. Sir worked as a BOS member in Bharatiya Vidyapita deemed university during 2013 to 2015. Sir worked as a member of BOS in Goa University during 2012 to 2014. Sir worked as an honorary consultant in the Dharmartha Mahaguru Ayurveda Clinic at Pune. Sir was awarded as a recipient of Karya Bhushana Puraskaram from Rashtriya Shikshana Mandala, Pune during 2014. Sir has presented many papers and resource persons in various conferences. Sir also, for his credit, has published 7 articles in various Ayurvedic scientific papers and the peer-reviewed journals in till date. Today, Sir is delivering a guest talk on Panchakarma in prevention and management of metabolic syndrome. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Namaste. Namaste to all. Thank you for a very elaborate description, and I will begin my lecture. Honorable Dr. Sarbeshwar Kar, sir. Am I audible, madam?
You are audible,
Dr.
sir.
Honorable Dr. Sarbeshwar Kar, sir, Principal of JSSM. Honorable Dr. Rajesh Udapudi, the Dean of JSSM. I pay my prayers, humble prayers to Jagat Guru Shri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji on his 105th Jayanti celebrations. Honorable Dr. Sudhakar Reddy sir, HOD of Swasthavritta, Dr. Veena Rao madam, HOD of the Panchakarma department, all the respected teachers in the group, and my dear students. रागादि रोगान सततानुशक्तान अशेषकाय प्रसृतान अशेषान औत्सुक्य मोहारतितान जघान यो अपूर्व वैद्याय नमोस्तु तस्मै. Today the topic on which I am going to deliver my talk is prevention of metabolic syndrome through Panchakarma. Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible?
No, sir. No, sir. Not yet, sir.
Just excuse me. Yes.
Yes, sir. It is now visible.
Now it is visible.
Yes.
Yeah. So my talk will be on Panchakarma for prevention of metabolic syndrome. This lecture cum presentation is all about levels of prevention in Ayurvedic perspective, meaning of metabolic syndrome in the Ayurvedic perspective, Panchakarma, the Samhita aspect will be dealt with, and application of Panchakarma as a tool for prevention and treatment of metabolic syndrome. So these are the highlights of my lecture, which I will now proceed. First, we will go for the levels of prevention. As mentioned in preventive medicine, there are 4 levels of prevention: primordial, primary, secondary, and tertiary preventive measures. The primordial prevention in Ayurveda includes inculcating healthy habits. My previous speaker, Dr. Deepa Bhatt Madam, has elaborated very nicely on Ritu Shodhan in today's era, and she has elaborated on all the seasons all over the globe, and she is in US, and she has a lot of clinical experience in US by setting up her clinic and center for Panchakarma. She has given a very broad aspect and a good lecture on the preventive aspect of Ritu Shodhan in Ayurveda. Now, inculcating healthy habits is the primordial prevention in Ayurveda. The ahar, eating at proper time, observing the 8-fold path, the 12-fold path, Dwadashashanani, eating in proper quantity as Matra Shiti and Trivida Kukshi Vijnaniya Adhyay. Then primordial prevention will include inculcating good habits for maintaining health. That is the Vihar, which is said in Ashtanga Hridaya and Sutrasthan of Sushrut Samhita and Ashtanga Hridaya. Sushrut Samhita Chikitsa Sthan chapter 24 and Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthan chapter 20. Brahma Murte Uttishtet. One person should wake up at Brahma Murta for maintaining life and maintaining a healthy life. One should get up. That is the primordial prevention. That is an inculcating good habits. Then primary prevention will include all the measures which maintain the health and prevent diseases that should be adopted in primary preventive measures. Tachanityam prayunjita swasthyam yenanu vartate ajatanam vikaranam anutpatti karam chayat, as said by Charak Samhita. As said by Bhava Prakash, again follow the healthy regime, daily regime, night regime, and seasonal regime for maintaining one's health. That are also those are also the primary preventive measures, which includes the Dinacharya, Rutucharya, and the Ratri Charya. This is a very famous slok from Charak Samhita. Nagari nagarasya iva rathasya iva rathiyatha swasharirasya medhavi krutyeshu avihitaha smrutaha. Just like a charioteer or a driver takes care of his chariot, the chief of a village, town, or a country takes care of the village, town, or the country. Every individual human being must take care of his or her own body by following the correct regime to maintain the health. That is in the Matra Shiti Adhyay. Then we move on to the secondary preventive measures, measures for maintenance of health, which involves treatment modalities, Ritu Shodhan procedures for detoxification of the body for a healthy individual, followed by Rasayan therapy. Ritu Shodhan is for a Sanchita dosha person. In today's era, almost every individual is a Sanchita dosha person because of contaminated food with fertilizers, chemicals, air pollution, and so many factors. Like Bhatt Madam also said, that there are so many things in today's era, that food is contaminated, our grains are contaminated, our milk is contaminated, our environment is contaminated with all hydrocarbons released through the diesel and petrol vehicles in the environment. And so most of us are all Sanchita dosha persons. I will go to the definition of Sanchita dosh and Asanchita dosh in the next slide. The metabolic syndrome conditions are all examples of Sanchita dosha. Then secondary prevention, the Panchakarma procedures to detoxify the body as per Charak Sutrasthan, Madhave Prathame Masi Navasya Prathame Punaha Sahasya Prathame Chaiva Harayet Dosha Sanchayam. That is the first month of Madhav, Madhu Madhava, Chaitra and Vaishak. So in Chaitra Mas, that is the Madhu Mas, it is the Mas for detoxification for Kapha dosh in Vasanta Rutu, that is Vaman is the procedure. Nabhav, Nabhasya. So Nabhasya, Prathama Mas is Shravan Mas, Nabhasya is Bhadrapad. So the first month is there for Basti, and it is the Pravrut Rutu, as specifically said in Sushrut Samhita. The Pravrut Rutu is the ideal Rutu for Basti, that is the Varsha Rutu, is there in Pravrut season, and Basti is the remedy for detoxification to pacify the Prakupita Vat. Then Sahasya Prathame Chaiva. Sahasya is Margashirsha month, but Margashirsha month, or it can also be taken as Ashwin or Kartik month, where we do Virechana for releasing the Pitta, the Prakupita Pitta in Sharad Rutu, Harayet Dosha Sanchayam. That is the remedy said by Charak Samhita. As per Ashtanga Hruday, we go for Rakta Mokshan also in Sharad Rutu. In Nasya, it is the morning season is good for Vasanta and Sharad Rutu for Nasya. In Hemanta and Shishi Rutu, we have to perform in the afternoon Nasya, and in Grishma Rutu in the evening, and in Varsha Rutu during sunlight. Swastha Vruttetu Purvanne, that is the shlok given in Ashtanga Hruday for a Swastha person. So these are the preventive measures, secondary preventive measures as per the Panchakarma procedures and as per the seasons and the months given in the text, and we can follow this in today's era also as mentioned. Now the secondary prevention measure in Rasayana Chikitsa is Rutu Haritaki, as mentioned in all the Samhitas, especially in the Bhavaprakash Samhita. This Rutu Haritaki concept has been mentioned. In Varsha Rutu it is with Saindav, Sharad Rutu it is with Sharkara, Hemanta Rutu it is with Pitpali, Shunthi, Madhu and Guda in the respective Rutus. I will not focus much on Rasayana Chikitsa of Rutu Haritaki. Then tertiary preventive measures includes treatment of diseases to cure them and arrest the disease process and prevent further damage. Ya bhi kriya bhi jayante sharire dhatavas samaha sa chikitsa vikaranam karmatat vishajam smrutam. Here we are talking of panchakarma for preventing metabolic syndrome as a secondary preventive measure. Now we will go to the topic of panchakarma. Panchakarma is included in Langhana as Shodhana treatment. Chatush Prakara Samshuddhi, Pipasa Maruta Atapo, Pachanani Upavasascha, Vyayamascha iti Langanam. There are 4 types of Shodhan mentioned in Charak Samhita: Vaman, Virechan, Asthapan, that is Niruha Basti, and Shiro Virechan, the Nasya procedure. Criteria for Shodhan, as mentioned in Charak Samhita, is Prabhuta Sleshma Pitta Asramalaha, Samsrushta Marutaha, Bruhat Shariraha, Balino, Langhaniya, Vishuddhi. Those persons in whose body there is excessively vitiated Kapha, Pitta, Rakta, the Malas, Vata, along with Kapha, Pitta or Rakta, a person with huge or large or massive body and a person with good body strength, they are all indicated for Shodhana. Earlier in the question answer session, somebody asked that for whom we should do Shodhana. So this is the criteria mentioned as in the Samhitas, that this criteria has to be followed when we are going for Shodhana. Then Panchakarma for Shodhana treatment, as mentioned in Ashtanga Hruday Sutrasthan chapter number 14, Yat Irayet Bahir Doshan, Panchadha Shodhanam Chatat, Niruho Vamanam Kaya Shiro Reko Asra Vishruti. To detoxify the body and throw away the vitiated doshas outside the body, 5 procedures called Panchakarma are adopted, and they are Niruha Basti, Vamana, Kaya Virechana, that is Virechana, Shiro Virechana, Nasya, and Rakta Mokshana. So these are the 5 procedures which are to be adopted as Panchakarma or Shodhana treatment as per Ashtanga Hruday, and the season specific Shodhana Karma for the Swastha individuals and Kriya Kalam na Hapayet for deceased persons. Whenever there is a Kriya Kal for Shodhana, we have to go for those procedures in the deceased persons. Now indications for Langhana or Shodhana, they have mentioned Meha, Amadosha, Atisnigdha, Jvara Urustambha Kushtinaha, Visarva Vidradhi Pliha, Shirak Kanthakshi Roginaha, Stulausha Langhayat Nityam, Shishiretu Aparan Api. That is a person who is suffering from Meha, Amadosh, excessive unctuous nature, that is a Snigdha person, Jvara Urustambha Kushtha, Visarpa Vidradhi Pliha, Shirorog, Kantharog, Akshirog, Sthula person, obese are all indicated for Langhana, that is Shodhana and Shamana on regular basis. And conditions other than these are indicated for Langhana in Shishira and Hemanta Rutu. Out of the above conditions, Meha, Prameha, Atisnigdha, Sthula, and Amadosh can be categorized under the metabolic syndromes. Can be categorized under the metabolic syndrome. Then what are the properties of Langhana? That we are going to talk of Shodhana now in or Panchakarma procedures in metabolic syndrome. So first we will just see the properties of Langhana. Yat kinchit laghavakaram dehe tat Langhanam smrutam. That which brings laghavta, a light feeling in the body, is termed as Langhana. And Lahu Ushna Tikshna Vishadam Ruksham Sukshmam Karam Saram Kathinam Cha Eva Yat Dravyam Prayaha Tat Langhanam Sprutam. So a Langhana Dravya has to have these properties: Laghu, Ushna, Tikshna, Vishada, Ruksha, Sukshma, Khara, Sara, and Kathina. And Langhana is a treatment for diseases or syndromes caused due to excess of Brumhana. It is Viparit of Brumhana. Then Santarpan Vikars are also treated by Apatarpan measures. In Charak Samhita, we find two chapters in Sutrasthan, Langhana Bruhaniya Adhyay and Santarpaniya Adhyay. So Santarpan Apatarpaniya Adhyay deals with Santarpan Vikars and Apatarpan Vikars, but in Langhan and Bruhaniya Adhyay, specifically which diseases are to be treated with Langhan and which diseases are to be treated or conditions to be treated with Bruhan are explained. In Ashtanga Hruday, chapter number 14, Sutrasthan, Ashtanga Hruday Vagbhat has clubbed all these 6 conditions, and he has said that even though Charak says that there are Shadvidhopakrams, there are Dvividhopakrams only, and those Dvividhopakrams are mentioned as Langhan and Bruhan specifically by Vagbhatacharya. And in Langhan, the Rukshan procedure and the Svedan procedure is included, and in Bruhan, the Snehan and Stambhan is included as per Ashtanga Hruday. And Santarpan and Apatarpan is also included under the terminology of Langhan and Bruhan as per Ashtanga Hruday. And we will go as per the Ashtanga Hruday concept, and we will see the Langhan and Santarpan and Langhan and Apatarpan and Bruhan and Santarpan concept as per the Samhitas. Then the metabolic syndrome. Now, what is metabolic syndrome? We will go by the definition. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that occur together, increasing your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. And these conditions include increased blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, and abnormal cholesterol or triglyceride levels. All these conditions arise due to Sanchita dosha, as I mentioned earlier, Sanchita dosha, and they can be included under Santarpan Janya Vikar. They can be included under the topic of Santarpan Janya Vikar. Now, before going to Santarpan Janya Vikars, we will just briefly see the dietary causes of Santarpan Janya Vikars. Santarpayati yat snigdhair madhuraihi guru pichchilaihi nava annaihi nava madhyaischa mausaischa anupavarijaihi gorasaihi gaudikaischa annaihi paishtikaischa ati matrashaha. That is from Charak Samhita. Excessive intake of snigdha, madhura, guru, pichchila food substances. Today our diet has changed so drastically. So many new food items are there in our diet, and so many in the urban system of hotels and restaurants and urban system of diet. Snigdha, madhura, guru, and pichchila are regular items in the food or the diet of many people, right from school going children to adults. And people are so used to this snigdha, madhura, and guru, pichchila food items that Santarpan is usually occurring or it is taking place. Even in rural areas, if you go, the rural diet has been replaced by all these Santarpan Janya diet in the rural areas also we see in India. Then newly harvested grains, Nava Dhanyaihi or Nava Annai, newly prepared wines. Now we are getting all the grains which are newly harvested. We are not using the stored grains as the Purana Dhanya mentioned in the Samhitas. Now Purana Dhanya are rarely available in the malls or the mall culture in the urban sector, and in the malls we all get the newly harvested grains, due to which there is Santarpan occurring in each and every individual. meat of animals staying in marshy lands or water. Example, the pork meat, the pig meat, beef, and the fish. Those who are the non-vegetarian food eaters, they are consuming such type of meat items. Then milk and milk products, food items containing jaggery, sugar, sweets of all kinds, food items prepared from refined flour, that is bakery items prepared from maida, and rice items prepared from many rice delicacies. So these are the Santarpanjanya causes related to the diet. Then we will further move to the lifestyle related causes of Santarpanjanya vikars. Cheshtadveshi divaswapna shayyasana sukhe rataha rogastasyopajayanते santarpana nimittajaha. Lack of physical activity, exercise, continuously sleeping in the daytime, lying or sitting in one position for long hours. These above dietary and lifestyle causes give rise to a number of diseases due to Santarpan, and many of these Santarpan diseases are included in the metabolic syndrome as mentioned in the modern medicine. Now, these are the list of diseases caused due to Santarpan. This list is mentioned in Charak Samhita, Sutrasthan 23. Prameha, Pidaka, Kotha, Kandu, Pandu, Amaya, Jvaraha, Kusthani, Ama Pradoshascha, Mutrakuruchram, Arochakaha, Taindra, Klebyam, Atistholyam, Alasyam, Gurugatrata, and the list goes on. And Shigram, Aparati, Kurvataha. Shigra, we have to go for the treatment of these diseases is in emergency or immediately. Then prameha, the pidaka which are causing due to the prameha, that is abscesses due to prameha, kandu, pandu, jvara, kushtha, ama pradoshaja vikar like visuchika, etc. Mutrakuchra, arochaka, tandra, klaibya. Now infertility is a major cause, or infertility is there in many individuals or many couples seen today, and klaibya can be one of the cause for infertility. Atisthaulya, obesity, guru gatrata, heaviness in the body, and indriya lep, that is dysfunctioning of the sense organ. And srotasa lep is given here, indriyam srotasam lepaha. So srotasa lep means there is a lep inside the arteries, inside the rakta vahinis, and the atherosclerotic changes or thrombosis, etc., taking place in the blood arteries, giving rise to many cardiovascular symptoms and cardiovascular diseases, or even the brain disorders or stroke, the TIA conditions. The Srotasa lep is one of the cause, and that is there due to Santarpana. Then Buddher Mohaha, that is state of confusion in the intellect. Pramilakaha, a state of trance mind. And Shopauscha, Vividhauscha, Anyai, all inflammatory conditions in the body. They are all the metabolic diseases, and the list of these metabolic diseases is very large and very vivid. And today, many metabolic conditions come under the purview of Santarpan diseases mentioned in the Samhitas. Now, this is again a variety of list mentioned in Ashtanga Sangraha, the diseases which are caused due to Bruhana. Chayakashtham uparuya kurvate tehi upekshitaha prayasha suchirena api veshajad veshino gadan. And how, which are those diseases? Atisthaulya, Agni Sadana, Kushtha, Meha, Ruta Aujasaha. So, obesity, again, Kushtha, psoriasis, the disease psoriasis which was mentioned earlier. Then Meha, which can be categorized, the diabetes mellitus can be categorized in Prameha disease. Ruta Aujasaha, all the Rud diseases, the cardiac symptoms. Srotorodha, all the diseases due to Srotorodha. Akshi Vibhrausha, then Murdha Rujaha, Ama, Doshopalipta Vadana, Rasam Rasavaha Siraha. And all the Rasavaha Sira are getting lipped or getting accumulated with vitiated doshas. And for those conditions, what is the remedy as per the Samhitas? Vamana dinato yunjat. Vamana dinato yunjat swasthasya eva yatha vidhi. So excess bruhan leads to diseases, and hence a swastha individual should undergo Vaman, Virechan, Basti, etc. Shodhana treatments for prevention of those particular diseases. And just see that I said previously that Ashtanga Hruday Sutrasthan chapter 4 in the Tika of Hemadri Ayurved Rasayan Tika, when mentioning about the Panchakarma procedures, the Samhitakar says that there are two types of swastha individuals, Sanchita doshaha, Asanchita doshaha. And Sanchita dosh conditions are actually natural conditions or normal conditions. But Panchakarma procedures are especially meant for Sanchita dosha persons and not Asanchita dosha persons as per the Ashtanga Hruday Samhita Hemadri commentary, Ayurved Rasayan commentary. And here, whenever we are looking for Vamanadi procedures for the Swastha individuals, they are all the Sanchita dosha persons as per the Samhitas. And hence, these Vamanadi procedures are to be done for swastha individuals who are having sanchita dosh in their body, and all the above conditions mentioned are sanchita dosh conditions. Now, what is the common factor in all metabolic diseases? The derangement in the function of Agni. Jatharagni is affected in many conditions. Many conditions involve derangement in Dhatvagni, as in the Prameha Vyadhi. There are 10 types of dushyas mentioned in the Prameha disease, and all those dushyas, they are involved because of derangement in the Dhatvagnis, derangement in the functioning of the Bhutagnis. That is also one of the causative factors of Prameha. If you go by the Samhitas and study Prameha from the Samhitas, we will see that there is derangement in Dhatvagni and Bhutagni, and hence there is a condition called a metabolic disease condition where there is derangement in this Agni procedure. Then Shodhana and Shamana Chikitsa is to be done as per the Kriya Kal to prevent the disease and avoid complications in the respective individuals. Then treatment or prevention through Panchakarma, we will see one by one the metabolic diseases, and I will just brief about those diseases and how Panchakarma will be helpful in prevention of those diseases and treatment of those diseases. Now, diabetes mellitus can be considered under the heading of Prameha. Prameha Swarup from Charaka Samhita Nidanasthan Tridoshakopanimitta Vyushati Prameha Bhavanti Vikarascha Apari Sankhyaha. So all the Pramehas, even though it is said that Kapha Pradhan causes are mainly the causes of Prameha, but Tridosha Kopa is the real cause for Prameha, and this is the cause as mentioned in Charak Samhita Nidanasthan. And Havihi Prashat Meha Kushthayor Janmaha. Havihi is nothing but Ghruta or ghee, and due to excessive intake of ghee, it is said in the mythological story that Meha and Kushtha are due to Havihi Prasad, that is excessive intake of ghee. And Tridosha Kopa Nimitta Sarva Meheshu Tridoshaha Karanam Adhikatvacha Slaishmikadi Vyapadeshaha. Adhikatvat, there may be causative factors vitiating kapha in the main causative factors, but all the pramehas are Tridosha Kopa Nimittaha. Then the Vyakhya of Prameha, excess of urination with turbidity, Prabhuta Avila Mutrata. There are two types mentioned, Dvau Prameho Bhavati, Sahajo Apathya Nimittascha, Sushrut Samhita. Then Sahajo is Matru Pitru Bija Dosha Krutaha, that is genetic Prameho Anushanginam, as said by Charak Samhita in the 25th chapter. Ahita Aharajo is Apathya Nimittataha, that is lifestyle related. Now, when we are discussing about the metabolic syndrome, they are all the lifestyle related diseases mentioned or the non-communicable diseases in the purview of preventive medicine. And Sahaja and Matru Pitru Bija Doshakruta are genetic diseases. Now, can we prevent the genetic diseases? Yes. With Panchakarma and Rasayan therapy, in the further generations, we can prevent the genetic diseases also. But the lifestyle related diseases or the causative factors can certainly be prevented through the mode of Panchakarma. Ahita Aharaja Apathya Nimittataha. Prameho Anushanginam, that is said in Charak Samhita Sutrasthan 25th chapter, when the Acharya describes about the Sreshtatama diseases or the Sreshtatama conditions or dravyas in the Agrya Sangraha, it is said that in the Anushangik disease, Prameha is the foremost disease which is genetic, which is hereditary, which is Anushangik. So that we have to keep it in mind. And gestational diabetes is one condition in pregnancy which is seen in many pregnant ladies nowadays because of changed food habits. Vikruta Ahara Vihara or Vishama Ahara Vihara that is responsible for such conditions. Then Prameha types: Sahaja Pramehi, Krusha, Ruksha, Alpa Ashi, Pipasur, Bhrusham, Parisarana Shilascha. That is the description of a Sahaja Pramehi, that is a Prameha which is genetic, thin, emaciated, having lot of dryness, poor eater, excessive thirst, and does normal physical activities. Parisarana Shilascha. That is the description of a Sahaja Pramehi. The Prameha which is due to lifestyle causes, Apatya Nimittascha, that is a Sthula Pramehi, obese person, Bahuashi, Snigdha, Shayyasana, Swapna Shilaha, obese, having excess of unctuousness, large eater, and who leads a sedentary lifestyle. Then again in Charak Chikitsasthan, chapter number 6 on Prameha, Acharya says that Jata Pramehi Madhumehinova Nasadhya Uktaha Sahibija Doshat Yechapi Kechit Kulaja Vikara Bhavanti Tauscha Pravadanti Asadhyan. Now, why Prameha? Prameha is a hereditary disease, and these Bija Dosha diseases are Asadhya as mentioned in Charak Samhita. And in clinical conditions where these hereditary conditions are observed, it is an observation that genetic factors are more from the mother's side. If mother is diabetic, then the children are more prone for diabetes, or the Basti and Vrukka are Viguna in their bodies, because Basti and Vrukka, which are the main avayavas or main dushyas in Prameha conditions, those are Matruja Bhava as per the Charak Samhita Sharirasthan. Matruja Bhava are Tvak, Rakta, Mausa, Meda, Kuloma, Yakruta, Vrukka, Basti, Amashe, Pakvashe, and Vapavahan, etc. And here, Mausa and Meda are the essential dushyas in, that is, Bahu Abadha Mausa and Meda is the essential dushya in Prameha, and Vrukka and Basti, they are also the dushyas of Prameha, and Rakta is also the dushya in Prameha. So all these bhavas are Matruja Bhava. So if the mother is diabetic, the future generation should take utmost care that in their generation, the diabetes will not follow in their generation, and the next generation will not be diabetic or will not be Pramehi. That has to be taken care of. Now, after considering the basic uh, of diabetics, or Prameha, we will go for the Chikitsa. Sthula Pramehi Balavani Haikaha Krushastatha Anya Paridurbalascha Sambruhanam Tatra Krushasya Karyam Samshodhanam Dosha Baladikasya. So here the Samhitakar has clearly mentioned that the person with Dosha Bala Adhika Dosha Bala has to follow Samshodhan, and that has to be followed by a Sthula Pramehi and a Balavana Pramehi. Those which are Krusha persons and Durbala persons, they should follow Bruhana and not follow the Samshodhana Chikitsa. Urdhvam, now by following Samshodhana Chikitsa, what Samhitakar has to say, Urdhvam tatha adhascha male apanite meheshu santar panameva karyam Samshodhanam na arhati yap pramehi tasya kriya samshamani videya. So Urdhva and Adha mala apanita, that is Vaman and Virechan, has to be followed by a Pramehi person who is Sthula and Balavan, and Santarpan is the Karya which has to be followed for every Prameha, because every Prameha is going to land in Madhumeha ultimately, which is a condition of Vatajameha, and hence Santarpan is the basic criteria of treatment in every Prameha patient. You should follow Santarpan and not just refrain from Madhura Rasa for your lifetime. As in modern medicine, it is said that all the sweet items should be refrained from a prameha person for the lifetime. But since Madhura Rasa is Ajanma Satmya, and Ajanma Satmyat Kurute Dhatunam Prabalam Balam, one person should not refrain from Madhura items for their lifetime. Some Madhura item, not just by Rasa, but by Vipaka also, we can consume the Madhura items in a Prameha person, which will lead to Santarpan and not lead to Ruhan or not lead to deceased conditions. Sanshodhanam na arhati ya pramehi, and the pramehi person where Sanshodhan is not indicated, tasya kriya sanshamani vidheya. In that person, sanshamani kriya, that is Shamana Chikitsa, is to be followed. Now, this is the categorization. Sthula and Balavana patient is to be treated by Vaman, Virechan, followed by Rasayan. For Snehan, and that is the Snehapan, Dhanvantar Ghruta is indicated in many patients of Prameha, or Nimba Taila is also indicated as Snehapana Dravya for Pramehi patients. Svedana, light Svedana as Pramehi is Asvedya. While mentioning the Asvedya conditions, Prameha is Asvedya. Why it is Asvedya? Because the condition is Prameha is Bahu Drava Sleshma. By following Svedana, then that Sleshma will be Dravibhut to a very large extent. Then when doing Vamana in a patient of Prameha, you can use Yashtimadu Kwat, Nimba Kwat, Panchatiktaka Kwat. By going for Virechana here in Maharashtra, and especially in our Tarachand hospital and in our practices, we use Privruta Leha for Pitta Pradhan Prakritis, and for Vata Pradhan and Krura Koshti Rugnas, we use Ichha Vedi for Virechana. The intervention which is mentioned in the Vihar as per Charak Samhita, Prag Langhanani, Vamanani, Virechanani, Pro Udvartanani, Shamanani, Cha Deepakani, that is Langhan, followed by, that is Shodhan Chikitsa, Vaman and Virechan in a diabetic person. Then Trushna Nigrahan is also there. While mentioning Trushna Nigrahan, in which diseases the water intake should be less. In Dravadravya Vijnaniya, Ashtanga says that in diseases of diabetes and many conditions, Trushna Nigrahan is must. Vyayam for proper development of Mausa Dhatu and relieving Meda. Udvartan for Sthirikarana Manganam, Yogasan and Pranayam. These are the Rasayan Kalpas for Prameha. After every Panchakarma procedure, Rasayan has to be followed. Dhanvantar Ghruta, Ayaskriti, Vasanta Kusumakar, Shilajit Prayog, single herbs will include Guduchi or Amalaki as Rasayana therapy. Now we will further go for Sthaulya, the other metabolic condition, obesity. The pathogenesis is accumulation of fat all over, excess of Agni, food intake is digested in a short time, requirement of more food due to excess of Vayu and Agni, intake of Santarpanjanya food, giving rise to obesity and a rise in lots of diseased conditions. The Chikitsa Siddhanta of obesity is Karshana Chikitsa, with the methods adopted to reduce excess of fat, body mass in the body, and the main Ahariya Dravya, that is medicines or food items which are Guru, heavy to digest and have the property of Apatarpan, that is Ruksha, are to be used here. The classical food item used here is Yava. And Yava is a food item which is Guru in nature but having a Ruksha property, and it is especially recommended. The Yava Manthas are recommended in Prameha and obesity, that is Sthaulya. And the Sutra for the symptoms of Medovah Srotas are all the pre-symptoms of Prameha, So in modern science, Prameha is the derangement of fat metabolism first as per Ayurveda, but as per modern medicine, there is derangement in the carbohydrate metabolism, and then the fat metabolism gets deranged in Prameha disease as per the modern science. But as per the Ayurvedic science, there is derangement first in the fat metabolism and then in the carbohydrate metabolism. Then in obesity, Vata reducing diet, fat reducing diet and treatment modalities. Panchakarma therapy in obesity is Basti of herbs having Ruksha, Ushna, Tikshna and Lekhana property. Lekhana herbs like Musta, Kushtha, Haridra, Daru Haridra, Vacha, Ativisha, Kutki, Chitra, Karanja. These Lekhana herbs, the decoction can be prepared and the Niruho Basti can be given, and the oil can also be prepared, and the alternate Anuvasan or Matra Basti can be given as a Panchakarma therapy in obesity. In Prameha also, when there is lot of apatarpan, Basti is indicated as a Tarpana procedure or Santarpana procedure in Prameha patients, and there we can use Yapana Basti or Madhu Tailika Basti in Prameha patients where there is a lot of apatarpan, and we can go for routine Basti, Yogika Basti in the Pravrut season for every Prameha patient also. But later on, we can go for Madhu Tailik Basti or the Yapan Basti, the Raja Yapan Basti as per Charak Siddhisthan. Then Trifaladi Basti as a reference in Sushrut Samhita Chikitsa Sthan 37, the Anuvasan Adhyay, decoction of Trifala, Ativisha and so many drugs, the Siddha Taila and Surasadi Ganasvarasa for recommended for Sthaulya. The route of administration for this Siddha Taila is oral, Pana, Nasya, Abhyanga, Gandusha and Basti, and the uses are Sthulata, Alasya, Kandu and etc. Kaphajanya diseases are the utility for this particular Basti in obesity. Then Katfaladi, Niruha, Katfaladi, Kwat, Vacha, Madanfal, etc. And the uses again are excess for Meda, excess of Meda, Kapha disease, Galaganda, Garavisha, Glani, Shlipada, Udara, and so many conditions are covered under this Katfaladi Kwat Basti, Niruha Basti as per Sushruta Samhita. Then another condition in the metabolic syndrome is hyperlipidemia to be considered under Srotasa Lepa and Atisnigdha. Those conditions are given in Santarpanjanya Vyadhis. All the Panchakarma procedures are to be done step by step in hyperlipidemic conditions. First Vaman, then Virechan, then Basti, and every 15th day one procedure will be followed by the first procedure. In females, we have to follow the menstrual period, and on the 5th day of the menstrual period, we can start the Snehapana Vidhi for females, and in males, every 15th day we can do the procedures. Now, I will just briefly tell you the steps for Vaman Virechan which we are following here as per the Samhitas. Step 1 is Rukshana for 3 days prior to Snehapan, drinking of hot water, oil-free diet, and only Svedan with some Pachan medicines, because first we have to do the Pachana procedures before starting the Snehapan for Vaman and Virechan, because Saman Doshan Na Nirharet is the sutra they described in the Samhitas as a treatment procedure. Step 2 is Snehapan, internal administration of Sneha, Siddha Gruta, Tiktaka Gruta, Mahatiktaka, Dhanvantar Gruta for all metabolic conditions like hyperlipidemia, or sesame oil, Tila Taila for 3 to 7 days in Vardhaman Matra starting from 40 ml, that is Rasiyasi Matra. All dietary and Vihara rules regarding Snehapan are to be followed. Then step 3 is Abhyanga with sesame oil or Nimbatail externally and light steam bath, Nirgundi Patra Bashpasvedan for 5 days prior to Vaman. Then step 4 is Abhishandi Ahar on the prior day of Vaman, curd rice or mash, that is Udad Dal, Krishara, Khichdi or Matsya and rice. I have even used Matsya and rice as an Abhishandi Ahar in non-vegetarian patients who are preferring to eat fish and rice on the prior day of Vaman as an Abhishandi Ahar. But in most of the patients, curd rice is recommended. In many patients, I have also used Masha Krishara, that is Udad Dal Krishara, as an Abhishandi Ahar. Step 4, in prior to the day of Virechana, Mudgayush and Krishara is for the Virechan. For Vaman, it is Abhishandi Ahar, and Virechan, it is Anulomak Ahar. Then step 5 is Vamana early morning after a day's gap of Samyak Snehan, Niranna Vaman, or if needed, Sadhya Snehan with curd and jaggery, Vamanopaga Dravya, Yashtimadu Kwat, sugarcane juice, Vamaka medicine, Madan Phala Pippali, Vacha, Yashtimadu Churna with honey. Then step 5 for Virechan. In Virechan medicine on the day 3, after 3 days gap for Samyaka Snehan, as per the Samhitas, Virechan medicine is to be administered in the morning in the Pittakal, Vivrut Leha or Ichhabedi Vati as per the Rugunas Koshtha. Then Laingiki, Vegiki, Maniki, Antiki to be followed as per the Samhitas for every planned Vaman and Virechan. Then post Vaman, Dhumapan with Dravya such as Vacha or Trikatu. Post Vaman and Virechan, Sansarjan Kram for 5 to 7 days as per the Madhyama Shuddhi or Pravara Shuddhi. Then step 8 is Rasayana Chikitsa. Every Panchakarma procedure should be completed with Rasayana Chikitsa. That everybody should keep it in mind. And as per the disease and as per the condition or the prakriti of the individual, the Rasayana dravyas are to be recommended for a period of 1 to 2 months later on after Vaman and Virechana. Rasayana for hyperlipidemia, Ritu Haritaki, Shilajit, Guduchi or Triphala, Vardhamana Pippali, as per the patient's dosha dushya, Rasayana can be selected. Now we will go for hypertension. There is no direct reference of hypertension in Ayurveda, but some Vaidyas consider it under different types of Avruttavat as per the patient's symptoms. Some Vaidyas treat the condition as Ama in Rasa and Raktavaha Srotas. Thus, it is a disease of Rasavaha and Raktavaha Srotas. Then cardiovascular diseases are to be considered under the heading of Rudrog. Rudrog is a disease of Rasavaha Srotas. All cardiovascular conditions, especially Rudshul, Rudbandha, Rudbadha, Rudgada, Rudasya, Rudasya Uparodhaha, Vibandha, Vibandha in Rudaya and Urasa, Rud Amaya due to atherosclerotic changes are all grouped under the diseases of Rasavaha Srotas, are all grouped under the diseases of Rasavaha Srotas. Now, what is the chikitsa of Rasavaha Srotas? Rasajanam Vikaranam Sarvam Langhanam Aushadam as per Charak Samhita Sutrasthan. Diseases of Rasavaha Srotas to be treated with Langhana. Now, we have seen as per Charak Samhita, Langhana is of 10 types. Shodhana, 4 types, Vaman Virechan, Asthapan, Shiro Virechan. Shamana is of 6 types. Pipasa, that is Trishna Nigrahan, Anila Sevan, Atapa Sevan, Pachana, Upavas, that is fasting, and Vyayam. And as per the individual, Vaidya should decide which type of Langana is to be advised in Rudrog, cardiovascular conditions, and hypertension. Then Chikitsa of Raktavaha Srotas, Vidhi Shonitike Adhyaye Raktajanam Bhishakjitam. Diseases of Raktavaha Srotas are to be treated as per guidelines given in Vidhi Shonita Adhyaya, Sutrasthan chapter number 24. Kuryata Shonita Rogeshu Rakta Pitta Hari Kriyam Virekam Upavasancha Travanam Rakta Shonitasya cha. In all Raktavaha Srotas diseases, Rakta Pitta pacifying measures are to be done. That is Virechan for Pitta Nirharan and Rakta Mokshan for Pitta dominant symptoms and Virechan. Most of the hypertensive patients are also advised Rakta Mokshana. But prior to Rakta Mokshana, we have to follow Snehapa for 7 to 15 days or Shiro Pichu for 15 days or Shiro Abhyanga. All the above practices to relieve the symptoms, especially the Shirashul, and relieve the stress in the person. These conditions are used to relieve the stress in the conditions. The dravya which is used for Shirodhara or Shiro Pichu or Shiro Abhyanga is Jata Maunsyadi Tail, Shirodhara for Vata Kapha dominance, Dugdha Dhara for Pitta dominance. We are using Dugdha Dhara in Pitta dominant conditions in hypertension. Then this is again Nasya as a stress relieving Karma Chikitsa for metabolic syndrome, Nasya for stress relieving in diabetes, hypertension. We can administer cow's ghee or sesame oil, 2 drops in each nostril as per the seasonal indications for the patients. Then these are the allied therapies for cardiovascular problems. Rudbasti is used as a condition for many angina patients and many patients who are suffering from many cardiovascular conditions. Even cardiomyopathies can be treated with Rudbasti. And we can use Punarnavadi tail as per Charak Samhita part in Rudroga condition. Punarnavadi tail can be used for Rudbasti for a period of 7 to 15 days. So this is another condition. So these were all the metabolic syndrome conditions which I had taken for Panchakarma procedures and prevention of those conditions. In future generations, we can prevent them by advising the future generation. Madam in the earlier lecture said that we should advise above 30 years all these Panchakarma procedures. But in my opinion, we can advise them after 18 years. After 18 years, when the person is adult, we can advise the Panchakarma procedures Nowadays, we are also seeing the PCOD conditions in many females, the polycystic ovarian disease condition, which is also a metabolic syndrome. And these polycystic ovarian disease conditions are also arising due to hormonal changes and due to lifestyle causes, the santarpan causes, of Vyayam, and so many causes. So we can advise Vaman, we can advise Virechan. I have done Vaman, Virechan, and Basti for many of the PCOS conditions simultaneous, not simultaneously, but step by step. First Vaman, then after Vaman, then Virechan, and after Virechan, then Basti as a yoga Basti Kram in many of the PCOS conditions which can prevent the metabolic syndrome. Now to summarize what Granthakar says, Yatet cha yatha kalam malanam shodhanam prati atyartha sanchitastehi kruddhaha syur jivita chidaha. Ashtangarudaya Sutrasthan chapter 4. The vitiated vata pitta kapha and other malas are to be removed by shodhana treatment at that particular time. The kriya kal we have to remove, or in that particular ritu, the ritu shodhana procedures are to be adopted, and every healthy individual should go for ritu shodhan. While giving a talk on ritu shodhan or panchakarma procedures, I will say that all our Ayurvedic Vaidyas and Ayurvedic students should first follow the panchakarma procedures on themselves and then go and tell the patients and advise the patients. I myself have done Vaman for 6 times. I have done Virechan. I have undergone the Basti therapy also. I have also undergone the leech therapy. I was not having any skin condition, but just for curiosity, I applied leech on my finger, and I witnessed that what happens after the leech therapy is administered, and what does the leech do. That thing we can observe. So we have to do the remedies on ourselves first. How many students in the group or how many Vaidyas or teachers in the group have undergone Vaman, Virechan, Basti, Raktamokshan and Nasya for their own health? That is also has to be considered. So they have to be removed by Shodhana treatment, because if they are not removed, they accumulate to a large extent, and then the aggravated dosh can be life threatening. And the last slide is a concluding slide of my lecture. Doshaha kadachit kupyante jita langhana pachanaihi yetu संशोधनैहि शुद्धाः न तेषां पुनरुद्भवः. Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthan chapter number 4. When the doshas are pacified by langhana and pachana measures, they tend to aggravate again. But if they are removed out of the body with Vamana, Virechana, Basti, Raktamokshan or Nasya, then they do not tend to aggravate again. That we have to follow as per the Samhitas. And hence, Panchakarma leads to a clean and safe pathway in the body with fully nourished dhatus after Rasayana treatment. Panchakarma leads to clean and safe pathways in the body with fully nourished dhatus after Rasayana treatment, as seen in this picture in the last slide. So this was my presentation about Panchakarma procedures regarding metabolic syndrome and prevention of metabolic syndrome, the Panchakarma procedures as per Swastavritta and Kaya Chikitsa. I have tried to give you the knowledge and elaborate on these procedures. I thank the organizers of JSS Ayurved Medical College, especially Dr. Sarbeshwar Kar, the principal, Dr. Rajesh Udapudi, Dr. Sudhakar Reddy, and Dr. Veena Rao for giving me an opportunity to present myself in this August gathering and in front of the learned teachers and doctors and Vaidyas. And thank you very much for a sound listening to all the listeners in the group, respected teachers and my dear students. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I thank you all. We can proceed for question answer session.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience. You have elaborately explained regarding preventive aspects of metabolic syndrome as well as dietetics and the Panchakarma. Sir, we have few questions from the viewers. First question, is it audible, sir?
Yes, I am audible.
First question. So your opinion regarding Sharabasti in metabolic syndrome?
Ksharabasti is also one of the therapies which can be used for sthula patients or sthaulya. And we can use these Ksharabastis where there is Gomutra also in many of the basti, the Apakarshan basti in Sushrut Samhita and Charak Samhita Siddhisthan, there is Gomutra. So we can go for this Utkleshana basti or Ksharabasti for sthaulya patients, and it is very much useful. We are using it in our hospitals for Sthaulya as well as Thula Pramehi patients, and we can use them.
Thank you,
It
sir.
gives
Next
good
question.
results.
Next question. So which rasayana you suggest in your clinical practice for the prevention of metabolic syndrome?
For prevention of many metabolic syndromes, I suggest the Shilajit Kalpas, because these Shilajit Kalpas, they are very much useful when we consider metabolic syndrome for diabetes and obesity. Shilajit Kalpas are very much useful. Guduchi is the most useful drug as mentioned in Prameha Chikitsa, Guduchi Swaras or Guduchi Ghanavati. Nowadays for COVID-19 also Guduchi Ghanavati is recommended. Guduchi Ashwagandha combinations are also recommended. For prevention of many metabolic diseases related to Sthaulya, we recommend Guduchi and Shilajit Kalpas. But for heart conditions or Rudroga conditions, we recommend the Suvarna Kalpas, Bruhatvata Chintamani, and so the Suvarna Sut Shekhar. And we also have the gold compound of our pharmacy, which we recommend for heart condition. The Suvarna Siddha Jala, the Suvarna Prashan is also recommended for these metabolic conditions, because Suvarna will be a protective for many of the vital organs in the body.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Which periodic Abhyantara Rukshana will you suggest, and how long, how frequently we can go for this advising the Rukshana therapy?
So Abhyantara Rukshana procedure is to be followed as per the Charak Samhita Langhana Adhyay. Ati Langhana Lakshanas are given in Langhana chapter. So Sansarjan Kram or Rukshana procedures can be followed till Samyak Langhana Lakshanas are seen. Once the Samyak Langhana Lakshanas are seen and there is proper Kshud Bodh, there is proper functioning of the Agni, then we have to stop the Langhana and proceed for the proper dietary procedure step by step. So till the Samyak Langhana Lakshanas are seen, there we have to make a halt or make a stop. In many naturopathy ashrams, we have seen that people are forced to go on Langhana from the day one and for so many days, and then they land in Vata Prakopa conditions. So Vata Prakopa conditions, if they have to be halted or they have to be stopped, we have to follow the Samyak Langhana Lakshanas.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Why Acharya Yoga Ratnakara advises Vamana for Vataja Rudroga?
For Vataja Rudroga, Acharya Yogaratnakar does not advise. It is advised Acharya by Acharya Sushrutacharya. And Sushruta's version Yogaratnakar has adopted in Vataja Rudrog. In Vataja Rudrog, there can be a condition of kapha or pitta obstruction in the pathway, and to clear the pathway of the vat, this vamana has to be advised, but it has to be done with very carefulness. In Vataja Rudroga patients, a Sadhyo vamana can be advised, a Laghu vamana can be advised, and not to go for a Tikshna vamana procedure as in Kaphaja diseases. A Laghu vamana procedure, because Vatasya upakramaha, snehaha, svedaha, Sanshodhanam Mrudu. So Mrudu Sanshodhana is advised in all Vatic conditions. And when Acharya says that in Vataja Rudroga Vamana has to be advised, we have to follow the Mrudu Vamana or Mrudu Sanshodhana procedure.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Sir, can we perform Hridaya Basti in post-open heart surgery patients?
Yes, post-open heart surgery patients also, to maintain the tone of the cardiac muscles, we can perform the Rud Basti procedure not immediately after open heart surgery, but after 3 months of open heart surgery, when the patient is very much stable in his condition. We can go for Rudra Basti condition.
Thank you, sir. Next question. What are the scientific evidences of Udvartana Chikitsa in Prameha? Can Basti administered in Prameha?
Basti can be administered in Prameha, but I said that Basti in Prameha is to be administered when there is an Apatarpana condition in Prameha. Apatarpana condition is the Vatika condition in Prameha, and there Granthakar has clearly stated in the Niruha or the Basti Adhyay that Madhu Tailika Basti is to be recommended for Prameha, or Rajayapana Basti can be recommended for Prameha. But prior to Rajayapan Basti, we have to go for a yogic Basti Kram for Koshtha Shuddhi, that is the Niruha and Anuvasan Vyatyasat Kriya for Yoga Basti Kram for 8 days. We have to follow that particular Basti and then go for the regular Basti. Regarding the scientific evidences of Udvartana, Udvartana is very much recommended in Prameha, especially the Sthula Prameha, because Udvartanam Kafaharam Medasaha Pravilapanam Thirikkaranam Anganam Tvak Prasada Karamparam. So Meda Pravilapanam is to be achieved at the end of Udvartana. So we can go for Ruksha Dravyas like Musta, Trifala, and so many Dravyas, Haridra for Udvartana in Prameha conditions. And here in our hospital also, we go for Udvartana for the Prameha patients as a treatment mode, because it is mentioned in Charak Chikitsa Sthan, chapter number 6, Langhanani, Virechanani, Vamanani, Pra Udvartanani. So Udvartan is one of the treatment mode for diabetic patients or Prameha patients, but they should be Sthula patients and not Krusha patients.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Can Vataja Prakriti person can undergo Vamana in Vasanta Rutu?
In Vasanta Rutu, Vataja Prakriti person can undergo Vamana with prior Snehapana and Svedana and proper Rukshana Pachana of the arm first, and then Snehapan. Vataja person will require 7 full days for Snehapana, and then by doing proper Snehapan, that is achieving the Samyak Snehana Lakshanani, then 1 day gap, and then going for Vamana with proper Svedana procedures also followed prior to Vamana. Then Vata Prakriti person can also go for Vamana procedure in the Vasanta Rutu. Because in Vasanta Rutu, even in a Vata person, there is naturally Prakopa of Kapha dosha in that particular person.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
No, sir, only these questions.
So I am very much delighted today that JSS Ayurveda Medical College has given me this opportunity to speak in the Hitaayu 2020 webinar, and in commemoration with the 105th Jayanti celebration of His Holiness Jagat Guru Dr. Sri Shivaratri Rajendra Mahaswamiji. I accept my humble prayers to Mahaswamiji, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have elaborately and extensively explained regarding the preventive aspects of metabolic syndrome. We wholeheartedly from the Department of Swastharutta and Panchakarma, we thank you for your regarding the presentation, sir.
Thank you once again.
Respected Mayor sir, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
By this, we come to the end of scientific sessions of day 2, and we will all join you soon in the afternoon's paper presentations. We have PG and faculty paper presentation in the afternoon, which will start by 2 p.m. sharp. Wishing to all see you there.
Thank you, sir.
Hitaayu. Namaste, sir. Thank you.
Namaste, sir. I will leave now. Thank you.